It was a gray morning in Santiago when the first columns of tanks rumbled through the avenues and the radio crackled with a voice that would not be heard again from the presidential palace. To understand that morning, you must travel back 3 years to October 1970, when Salvador Allende, a physician and longtime socialist, won Chile's presidency at the height of the Cold War. Allende's Unidad Popular promised nationalization, land reform, and a break from Washington's economic orbit. For millions of Chileans, it was hope. For others, a harbinger of what the United States and anti-communist forces feared most: a leftist state in the Western Hemisphere. The tension did not arrive spontaneously. Behind closed doors in Washington, the Nixon administration declared Chile a test case. Declassified records later revealed an organized covert campaign. The CIA funneled money to opposition parties, supported media campaigns, and orchestrated strikes that paralyzed transportation and food supplies. Economists, diplomats, and intelligence officers designed pressure so the domestic economy would falter and popular support erode. The goal, as later documents made painfully clear, was destabilization, an effort to remake political reality without overt invasion. Within Chile, the pressure met an equally determined military establishment. On September 11, 1973, the conspiracy of covert influence and internal plotting reached its apex. Jets bombed La Moneda, tanks encircled the palace, radio stations were seized. General Augusto Pinochet, a relatively obscure army commander until months earlier, took command. Allende, refusing to resign, made a final transmission to the nation from inside the palace. He died that day amid the smoke and rubble. Official accounts concluded suicide as he resisted capture. What followed was purge and terror. The new regime moved quickly to erase the old order. Special military detachments known as the Caravan of Death were flown to provincial towns to execute and disappear political prisoners. DINA, Pinochet's secret police, established torture centers where thousands were interrogated, disappeared, or murdered. Human rights groups would later tally thousands killed and disappeared, tens of thousands detained, and countless families shattered. The conspiracy widened and formalized in 1975 with Operation Condor, a transnational network of intelligence services from Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Brazil. It coordinated kidnappings, assassinations, and exchanges of intelligence to track down exiled dissidents across borders. Declassified cables and testimony revealed cooperation, sometimes tacit, sometimes active, with foreign intelligence agencies contributing to a climate where exile offered only limited safety. At the same time, Pinochet invited a new experiment. A cadre of economists trained at the University of Chicago, known as the Chicago Boys, implemented sweeping neoliberal reforms. They privatized state enterprises, opened markets, and curtailed social programs. The economic changes produced a complex legacy: stabilized macroeconomic indicators for some, but deepened inequality and social dislocation for many others. The story is not one of simple villains and victims, but of choices made under the banner of ideology and geopolitical strategy. The United States' role, overt and covert, shifts the narrative from a domestic military coup to a theater of Cold War realpolitik, where democratic institutions were subordinated to the perceived necessity of containing communism. By the 1990s, Chile began to confront that past. Truth commissions and trials documented abuses. Documents that had been secret for decades were opened. Survivors told their stories. The legal and moral reckonings were slow and incomplete, but they chipped away at the impunity that followed the coup. The international arrest of Pinochet in London in 1998 crystallized many of those tensions, forcing the world to reassess responsibility and complicity. This is a story of a gray morning whose causes were plotted in rooms far from Santiago and in streets and factories within the city itself. It is a documentary of how a democracy was toppled, how a conspiracy of covert action and military ambition can consume a nation, and how the search for truth becomes the work of generations. The echoes of that day, political, economic, and moral, still reverberate through Chile's streets and histories, reminding us how fragile democratic life can be when fear and power conspire.